Can't afford to stay idle.
Looking ahead.
What a day. Charmed, I'm sure.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
I've got a long road ahead.
A trap? Someone doesn't like...
My faith will guide me.
All right. What now?
Keep your distance, darling. Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us. Oh dear. Someone's left a trap out for us.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Unlock hereby the path to the Karsus vault.
The Annals of Karsus. The preamble to a civilization's downfall, committed to parchment by the very hand that wrought its destruction. If the crown atop the Elder Brain was truly forged by Karsus himself, this book will confirm it. All we have to do is turn the page. That devil Raphael was telling the truth. There's no doubt. The crown of Karsus is what's controlling the Elder Brain. And this is no mere journal. It contains Karsus's original plans for the crown's construction. His designs for godhood. Not exactly. It was what he did with it that sealed his fate, and, for a time, that of magic itself. The crown was merely the means. The book states that the crown and Netherstones were originally one construct, seemingly sundered at the moment of Karsus's downfall. If we can collect the crown's setting and the 3 Netherstones, and with the correct invocation of certain spells and gestures detailed in these notes, I think I could reforge it. To every end you can imagine, and 1,000 more beyond. Just think of it. The power of the gods in mortal hands at last. Would be free of doctrine and dogma, confined only by the limits of our imaginations. I promise you, the gods will never grant us such a blessing, no matter how much we worship and adore them. Some gods may delude themselves into believing they care about their worshippers. But when it comes down to it, we're all expendable. Children to be appeased, not respected. I worshipped Mystra loyally for years, and in that time she granted me the barest sliver of the power I was ready to wield. Even with the fate of the world at stake, she had little more to offer me than the means of blowing myself up at a more convenient time. She's done nothing to help us. Mystra wanted the brain obliterated because of this crown. She fears a world in which such power is beyond her control, ready to be claimed by Karsus's successor. Neither of us can know what truly may be if we don't at least try. Potential is nothing in itself, just a fleeting dream unless we drag it into the waking world. Please, at least think on it. Powerful as he was, Karsus lacks some advantages I can lay claim to. I know Mystra intimately, and I carry a fragment of the weave itself within my body. Karsus achieved many things, but he never managed that. A long road lies ahead before the crown comes into our possession. All I ask for now is that you do not dismiss this possibility out of hand. Please, at least think on it. I see. I suppose I am asking you to take a leap of faith even the most loyal of companions might struggle to land gracefully. Spent so long feeling inferior, shut out from my destiny over such a simple act of youthful enthusiasm. Perhaps I got carried away with the thought this crown could give me back what Mystra took. Cure me, even. right. There aren't many wizards who'd care to be mentioned in the same breath as him, or his folly. Whatever comes of this, we cannot allow the crown to be reforged in Raphael's image. A devil wielding the might of Karsus. It would be the end of everything.
We're a long way from Waterdeep.
How delicious.
No one stopped me yet.
You've set foot in a restricted area. A swift exit may be in order.
Well, at least they seem to use the everything. Everything. Not a title for me, I think.
Mushrooms?
Perhaps we ought to ask what they have in the back, if anything.
I don't think it'd hurt. They'll probably...
How can I help you?
Who now? Oh, Roland. I leave him alone. He leaves me alone. That's all there is to it, I'm happy to say.
Rare. Might as well mean cursed.
Let me introduce myself. I am Roland, the new ruler of Ramazith's Tower. All deals and sales made under previous ownership will be honored. I hope you enjoy this curated selection of goods for all your magical needs. I didn't quite catch that. What did you say?
Perhaps not.
I think it's very funny. Well, you're wrong. If you're bored and I'm wrong, where have Jeremy and his mother gone?
Elminster?
Oh, hello, my boy. No, don't mind me. I'm just enjoying a lungful of Baldurian air. Yes, a distinctive aroma, though perhaps not one worthy of bottling. I hear you've been browsing in the most esteemed of Emporium's sorcerous sundries. Indulge my curiosity. What wonders did you discover there? So, you have learned the truth of the enemy we face. The very tool with which its eponymous creator unmade magic itself. Perhaps now you understand what is at stake here, my boy. Though what Mystra asked of you was extreme, it was not without merit, nor demanded lightly.
What are you saying? Or rather, what are you not saying?
Mystra knows you defied her, Gale. Well, of course she knows. She's Mystra. She bids you come to her holy shrine in the Stormshore Tabernacle. There, she will grant you an audience at last. I see remaining optimistic is my duty, especially when I'm not the one being asked to do the seemingly impossible. Trust in yourself. Trust in the weave. If you are willing, trust in Mystra. There is a conclusion yet to be written in this sorry tale, Gale of Waterdeep. And yours is the quill that will write it.
How can I help? I've often asked myself the same question, never really found a satisfactory answer. You clearly see something in me that I can't. The wisdom and intelligence required to overcome almost insurmountable odds, perhaps? Or the stupidity required to attempt it. I take it as a compliment either way. You don't get to be 13 centuries old without becoming a sound judge of character. And cheese, apparently. I regret many things in my life. Choosing to be here, intact and unexploded, is not one of them. For now, to have a few more days in your company, no. I wouldn't change a thing. Of course.
Goddess or no, it is a fearsome sting to be let down by a lover. And to hear of it from another of her bright birds. It must be difficult for Gale to imagine great Elminster courting, writing poems, doing certain deeds. It is difficult for Minsk to think of too. Let us speak no more of it. Of Elminster and the sex, I mean. Minsk shall be your shadow, as Boo is his. Minsk is an open book, with many pretty pictures. Boo is ready with the musings. I do not wish to speak of the wizard. I could not have said it better myself. He came to me one night with a little book of mischief, full of words and their meanings. Posterior, he says. Can you say posterior? Pwah, I refused. Minsk does not need to know the language of wizards. It is an inferior word. Far too long to use in a battle cry, which is where a butt belongs. Gale would do better to educate himself in the ways of sword and steel than to throw these pointy words at Minsk. Ah, yes. Gale also owns a cat. A cat with wings. That is most unnerving for poor Boo. Never! If he is not careful, Boo will shred his books and use them as bedding.
Oh, that pointy-headed old fart talks too much. But he has also moved mountains, walked between plains, and dragged himself back from death 12 times. If he still believes in Gale, the boy should not be overly concerned what his ladylove thinks. Goddess or no? Ask it. You speak of a battle more than a century past. Baal's minions led us through a maze in the Undercity, older than Baldur's Gate itself. We paid little mind to the path ahead, let alone how we might return, or that we would return at all. Still, the Undercity shifts. We might search down there. Or better yet, find a ballast to lead us.
Poor Gale. I hope he knows that a goddess abandoning him needn't be the end. I know from experience.
Mystra wants to meet Gale. Impressive. The only thing a god's ever offered me is a cold shoulder.
The mother of all magic, they say. Let us hope Mystra brings Gale good fortunes.
I couldn't help overhearing what Elminster said to Gale. Not every day a god asks for a chat.
Hey, maybe I'm invited too. I can be the muscle.
So, Mistress requested a chat with Gale. Unusually polite for a god. I do hope it goes well. We've pissed off enough gods already.
But it is a fine thing to walk with friends beneath the warming sun.
Friends might be a stretch, but otherwise, yes, I fully agree.
You might have your cloudy locks to keep the heat off your head. But do not forget that Minsk has pool. We will be like twins, eh?
We will? God! 200 years and I've never missed seeing my reflection more.
There she stands, just as Elminster promised. Mystra, goddess of the weave, mother of all magic.
The old man wasn't lying. She's opened the summoning channel. Can't you feel it?
Gale's right. The very air around the statue crackles with magic. It sets your teeth on edge.
A stream of pure, undiluted weave. I only have to reach out, and it will carry me to Mystra, wherever she may be.
An audience with your goddess can go wrong. I should know. But do whatever you feel is best, Gale.
Time was, I'd have given my right arm for a chance to speak with Mystra again. The left one, too. Maybe a knee. Not the message one hopes to receive from a past lover. But her first love was always the weave. At best, I was a close second. When I pictured this moment, I thought I'd feel more in control. Yet, here I am, with palms sweatier than a bugbear's armpit. I always wonder what being nervous would feel like. I hate it. During my time locked away in Waterdeep, I prepared a quite comprehensive speech for her on the subject of our former relationship and the manner in which it ended. Alas, recent events have rendered the majority of it moot, so I'm going to have to improvise. Unless you have any words of wisdom to impart before I go. The summoning channel Mystra has provided is one only I can enter. No matter how much I prefer not to face her alone. You'd make a fine three-dragon anti-player, you know? I think it's best I keep a cool head going into this. Approach it like a particularly high-risk round of three-dragon ante. I'll let Mystra show her flight, and then I can see how strong a chance we stand of winning the gambit. I'll only be gone for a matter of moments. The Outer Planes experience time quite differently to our own. Wait for me. Please.
Gale of Waterdeep, you look well.
As do you. But I assume we're not here solely to exchange compliments. So why am I here?
You discovered what lies at the heart of the Absolute, the crown of Karsus. And you disobeyed my instruction. Why?
Because you had no right to ask that of me. You cast me out. Remember?
You were my lover, my chosen. Yet still you know so little of me. The past cannot be undone with self-pity, nor can a future be forged. Only with the truth will you see the way ahead. The fragment of magic you tried to return to me was not of my creation. It was the Karsite weave. It is a corrupted, half-born magic, wrought in the brief moment Karsus ascended to godhood. It hungers for power, just as he did, and it can never be sated. You unleashed something that would consume all magic in existence, and yet you thought only of preserving yourself.
So that's what you're scared of. With the crown of Karsus reforged, I could take control of the Karsite weave.
You can no more control the Karsite weave than a weather vane could control a storm. That it entered your body and consumed no more than your powers was a miracle. But we will not be granted another. The only reason the orb sleeps is because I have allowed it to feed on the true weave. A temporary measure, but one that will not be enough to save us. With each day that passes, the Elder Brain threatens to become a new kind of god. Its worshippers, a scourge of soulless illithids. If you will not use the orb to end this abomination, then you must find a way to separate crown and host. When you've done this, you must surrender the crown of Karsus to me.
Great ask indeed. You've given me much to think on, as you always did.
So be it. Follow the needle of your own wisdom. We shall see how truly it leads you.
Mortal soil once more. I can't believe I saw her. After all this time. Relieved. Drained. Proud of myself for summoning the courage to go to her in the first place. And, if I'm being totally honest, a bit lightheaded. As if it wasn't enough to have seen her again. She didn't exactly summon me there for small talk. The Karsite weave. Within me this whole time. I knew the orb was no ordinary ball of magic before it to be Karsus's malignant creation. Gods! How did I not see that? True enough. There's a reason such unwitting heroes have been the backbone of lyric and legend for as long as both have existed. Even so, I was hardly some naive apprentice at the time. I considered myself an archmage, and yet was fool enough to be mistaken for a common conjurer. At least now I'm armed with the truth, and Mystra's expectations. Sounds like the door to redemption is open at last. All I have to do is walk through it, carrying the crown of Karsus. Perhaps. I see few other options open to me. If I ever want to reclaim those parts of myself the orb snatched away. If I ever want to be me again. Thank you. There aren't many I'd trust to stand beside me on such a journey. Fewer still who would do so because they believed I deserved such a chance. If I could promise you one thing in return for your faith in me, it's this. I will use everything in my power to ensure we defeat this evil. I will not let you down.
Wits and blades, always sharp.
You feel the chill gaze of the Moon Maiden upon you. Selûne welcomes you. Show reverence before your deity and open your soul to their divine power. The cold, white light of Selûne fills you with majestic wisdom and grace. Shine forth as the Moon Maiden shines.
All's well that ends. Well, not as bad as it could have.
Speaks well, that envoy Gortash. Excellent rhetorician.
He's a man of the people, too. Promised at least 100 more watchers before...
In my opinion, we should have a steel watcher in every Baldurian home.
Clears off the cultists.
Why? I'm glad you asked. It'd certainly help with the dishes. Okay, after the joke, he'll laugh. Leave him some time, and then...
You lot are sworn to secrecy, aren't you?
Please, just let us go and we'll be out of your way.
You can go once we're done with you. Do you mind?
I'm in the middle of an interrogation.
Stories, get them right here. The printing block has never been so hot. Come get your copy of the Baldur's Mouth Gazette. When the mouth speaks, the city shakes. All right there, Chief? Can I interest you in a copy of our fine broadsheet? Have a gander at that. Come back tomorrow if you fancy fresh news. Get them right here. The printing block has never been so hot.
Louder than the file.
Scandals, vandals, where to buy sandals. It's all here in the Baldur's Mouth Gazette. A gazette a day keeps the ignorance away.
I'm gonna grow up to be a great wizard and wade through my enemies with spells of fire and blood. Mostly fire.
Great, isn't it? These are just cantrips. I can keep this up all day.
Get them right here. Gather round for the show. Printing block has never been so hot.
Look, Mama, look.
Hold
seeker? Have you come to swear yourself to Shress by my paw? Mother of cats, feline of felicity, the only deity one should ever swear fealty to in these 9 lives. Now, will you heed our mother's call and bolster her as she crushes the heathen absolute beneath her divine paw? Shress shall mourn your absence, but always honor your capriciousness as her own. May your dusks be long, and your hunger fleeting. Yes? Will you now heed the most splendid Shress? Yes? Will you now heed the most splendid Shress's call?